Long time ago, a turtle was swimming in a creek, pretending to be flying around in the water because he really wanted to fly. He would look up and watch the eagles when they flew nearby. He would admire how they would appear to be floating in the air and gliding really gently. The turtle really wanted to do that, but he could only stretch out his forelegs, his tail, and his head, and he would pretend that they were his wings, and that the water was the clouds. Thus he would soar in this manner in the water. However, his secret wish was to fly like an eagle. Then one day an eagle landed on a rock near the shore of the creek. The turtle swam to the surface of the water, and his little head just popped up above the water. Then he swam close to where the eagle was standing. Turtle hinted to the eagle, "Geez, I wish I could fly way up there in the sky and just float around. That would be so wonderful. If only I could fly. If only there was a way." Eagle said nothing as he was relaxing and not showing any attention to Turtle. Finally, Turtle swam to the shore and spoke directly to the eagle. "Little brother, would you please teach me to fly?" Eagle said, "But big brother, you will surely die or really hurt yourself bad." Turtle said, "Little brother, I am a really smart guy. I know I will learn very easily to fly if you just show me how." Eagle said, "Don't be ridiculous. Big brother, if you go way up in the sky, you are just going to fall and break into pieces when you land on the ground." Turtle persisted, "No, not even. I just know that I can do it once I learn how. See, watch me now." Then he showed the eagle how he would fly, by first sticking out his forelegs and his tail. Then he made his legs and his tail and his head move as if they were his wings. The eagle said, "If that is how you plan to fly, then you will die for sure." Turtle kept persisting until finally Eagle said, "Okay, I will teach you how to fly, but you have to follow my directions exactly as I tell you to." Turtle was all excited as the day he had been waiting for had now arrived. Eagle continued, "Big brother, I am going to grab you and fly with you up to the sky, and then I will let you go, and you can fly from there." Turtle said, "Oh, little brother, this is all I have ever wanted you to do. Now my dream has come true. Yes, just fly me up to the sky and let me go, and I will do the rest." Then he started to move his forelegs and his tail and his head as if they were his wings. Eagle flew over and grabbed the turtle, and up, up, up they went. Turtle was all excited and practicing flapping his legs, his head, and his tail as if they were his wings, as Eagle was flying higher and higher and higher. Turtle looked down and got a little bit dizzy, but not too bad. Then he said, "Okay, little brother, this looks like a good place to start. You can let me go right here." Eagle said, "No, not yet. Remember, you have to follow my directions exactly." And so Eagle flew higher and higher and higher. Turtle was getting really anxious now, and so he said again, "Okay, little brother, this looks like a good place to start. You can let me go right here." Eagle said rather emphatically, "No, not yet. Remember, I said we will do this by my directions only." And higher they soared into the clouds. Then suddenly Eagle screamed, "Okay, now!" And he let Turtle go, and it took the turtle by surprise, but he started to flap his wings anyway. He soon noticed that he was falling instead of flying. Even so, he was still frantically trying to move his wings, which were really his legs, his head, and his tail. Then he started to spin around and around. His shell was making this whizzing noise. Whizz, and it was making whistling noises too because of the air going over those areas where his legs and tail were located. Eagle was trying to be serious, but the sight of the turtle flying was really funny to watch, so he started to laugh and laugh and laugh. Then Eagle flew right up close to Turtle and said, "Geez, big brother, you really fly good. I really like the way you fly. If only I could fly like that and make all those really cool war cries like you." At the same time, Turtle was grunting while still trying to be cool like he knew what he was doing. Yet his motion seemed to make him fall faster, and Eagle was laughing so hard that he started to fall as well. But he caught his balance just before the ground came up to meet him. Turtle hit some bushes and started to bounce all over the place until he eventually bounced back into the creek where he started from. Eagle said, "Do you see, big brother? You should only fly in the water because that is what you are, and you cannot ever be something that you are not." And so Turtle was all shamed out and embarrassed, and he flew away under the water back to his home. The moral of this story is do not try to be something you are not, because you will only make a fool out of yourself if you do. And worse, you could die. The story, the turtle who wanted to fly. What it's saying is that, find yourself and then you will find your talents. Yeah. So, um, look under the bed, look in the dresser drawer. Maybe you're there. um, no, it's living the way I've been talking on this show. These concepts that I've been saying all throughout this show. That's gonna help you establish peace in your life, and that's how you find yourself. Yeah. And then, because you're coming to peace, yeah, you're coming to peace with your past, the difficulties from your past, and you're unlocking nice memories from your past that are going to medicate you and heal you too. And visualizing the future is going to put a pattern in your brain to give you inspiration to achieve a healthy future. And when this is how you find yourself. And when you're in this process, you're going to find out what your talents are. Yeah, you're going to discover, hey, I didn't know I could do origami, or whatever. Yeah, and whatever your talent is, I mean, you'll discover it, and then you'll see that when you do your talent, and there others are going to really like it, whatever it is, yeah. And that's how you become a blessing to others, and then every time you do something like that, you're sending out a healing energy, and others are going to feel it, and they're going to feel good, and you might even help somebody come out of a really down state, yeah, and you didn't even know it. And then that energy returns to you 4 times as strong to bless you too. Yeah, that's the beauty of it. That's called the natural law of generosity. Yeah, this is Wawokie, and uh, and then you see that everybody has a talent, that everybody can do this. And what the story is about is when you try to do something that is not you. Like, for example, I had this friend, his name was Dan. I won't say his last name, um, out of respect. But Danny boy, there was a time, this was back in the 80s, and Danny boy was really getting into guitar players. Yeah, he was really, he bought a hat like Richie Sambora from that Bon Jovi band. Yeah, he bought a hat like that guy and bought himself an acoustic guitar and how to play guitar book. He wanted to be a heavy metal guitar player. Yeah,
and he wanted to, do all these fancy, what do you call it? These in guitar talk we say tapping. Yeah, this is it's where you bring your right hand over to the where where your left hand is making all the chords and stuff like that. And what you're doing is you're taking your right hand and putting it there and tapping on certain places on the fretboard while your left hand is also doing something called hammering. And what that is one like your what do you call that? Index finger is going to be set like the anchor, and then the other three fingers of your left hand are going to be, like pressing a note, yeah, above it, and then pulling off, yeah, that's hammering, and then your right hand comes up and joins that combination and taps the highest note, so you can do really uh, fast movements like that. You hear that in my guitar playing. A lot of these songs where you hear Lakota in them, that's my music. Okay, and you hear a lot of tapping in there, and in the 80s, 1980s, a lot of guitar players were doing that, and Danny was really into that. He wanted to be a guitar god, yeah, and have girls throw their bras at him and things like that. And he expected to, he thought all I gotta do is just learn how to put my fingers in the right position, and then just practice just doing that over and over, and then I should eventually be able to do that. He said. So I said okay. And so we were in university. Yeah, I was in Utah at this time, and summer vacation was coming up, and so I was going back to South Dakota. So he wanted me to write out the guitar solo, one of Eddie Van Halen's guitar solos, because he really made Eddie Van Halen really made the style of guitar playing popular. And so he wanted me to write a Van Halen solo out, and it's called Eruption. And see, I can play that. Yeah? And he wanted me to write the whole thing out for him. And he didn't know how to read music, so he said, put it on the, there's something called tablature in the guitar world. And what that is it looks like music, but it has 6 lines and not 5. Because music typically has 5 lines. Okay, and guitar tablature uses 6, and each line represents a guitar string. And then you put a number on the guitar string, and that indicates the position on the guitar fretboard where you're supposed to put your finger. Okay, so that they call that tablature. So he wanted me to write that out, the tablature, for Eddie Van Halen solo. So he said, I guarantee you, he said, when you come back in September, I'm going to be playing this better than you, he said. I said, okay. So I wrote it out. Yeah. Now, mind you, this guy could not play a G chord. He couldn't play a C chord or a D7 chord or an A chord or an E chord. He couldn't play any chords whatsoever. He was trying to do all this fancy stuff right away. Yeah, he wanted to be Van Halen right away. And so I wanted to teach him a lesson, kind of put him in his place, and but I did it. Yeah, I did what he asked me to do. I wrote the solo out note for note on the tablature, and I told him, okay, this is where you do this and this. You should be able to figure that out. And I've also put numbers in there representing both hands, because there's a part in that song where he really goes at it, yeah, with both hands on the fretboard. And so I wrote all of that out for him, and I said, okay, well, when I come back in September, I'm going to expect to hear you play this perfectly." So he said, "Yeah, don't worry." He said, "I'm gonna be better than you." He said. I said, "Okay, I look forward to it." And so he so he started to I don't know what he did. Yeah. And my mind, I was thinking, I bet you anything he got frustrated, and he probably thought, okay, I'll wait till tomorrow. I'll try it out. Today I'll just look at it and get used to it, and then tomorrow I'll begin. And I think he said that every day, because by the time September came and I went back to university, came back from South Dakota, and I got checked into my room and stuff, and then first thing I did was head over to dance. Yeah, I was like all excited. I came in smiling. All right, Danny boy, put me in my place. I want you to totally humiliate me. I said, "What do you mean?" He said. I said, "You told me you were going to play Eruption for me the day I came back in September, and here it is. It's September. Here I am. Yeah, I even brought you my electric guitar because he had an acoustic, as I said earlier. Yes, I said I even brought you my electric guitar. I even brought you my amplifier." So I plugged it in and I said, "Here you go." And I handed him the guitar. He just sat there. He didn't want to take the guitar. "Well, Dave," he said, "it was a little bit harder than I thought." He said. I said, "Well, just show me what you learned." He said, "Well, actually, I didn't learn anything." He said. He said, I don't know." He said, I just realized I'm not cut out for that." He said. And see, this is the thing. See, he is not musical. Yeah, he doesn't have any musical bone in his body. He is not a musician, and he does not have what it takes to be a musician. But he was trying real hard to be a professional guitar player by the in 3 months. Yeah, actually 4 months. It was a 4 month break. So this is an example of a turtle who was trying to fly. His talent was not music. His talent was something else. Yeah, he was really good at something else. It's just that he didn't find that something else as being exciting. Yeah? The talent that he had, he did not find that as exciting as being a rock and roll guitar player. Because I was telling him before I left for South Dakota, I said, Dan, I said, I started playing guitar when I was 8 years old. I learned chords, and then I learned from chords, I learned rhythm guitar. I learned how to play like Chuck Berry, the very basic things. But number one is I learned how to play rhythm first. You have to walk before you can run. And this is just the way it is. And as I got into it, I had my difficulty too, but I persevered. And next thing you know, it just came natural to me. So I could listen to a record and learn it. Even before the song was over, I already learned the song. Because that's ear training. That's what a musician does. So I found my talent early. But the thing is, becoming a guitar player takes years. And you have to love it. And you have to challenge yourself. Constantly push yourself further than what you think you can do. And that increases as time goes on. And then you have your creativity. Yeah. And then along with my learning, I said I learned music theory too. I learned classical music because this came natural to me. I said what Eddie Van Halen's doing is classical. You see, Eddie Van Halen is a classical pianist. Yeah? What he's doing is music theory, and that's how I figured out what Eddie Van Halen was doing. It was really easy for me to figure out what he was doing because I'm a classical musician myself. Yeah, and then but once I got it down, it was really easy after that. So the thing is, I said it takes years to do that. You don't just pick up a guitar and expect to have this down in a few months. It's not going to happen. And he didn't believe me. Yeah, he said, all I gotta do is just learn these fingering, and I'll have it down in no time. He said, I'm gonna practice this all day long. He said. See, he was thinking in an analytical way, and it didn't work because that's music is more than that. Yeah, and music, a lot of people think that in music you use your right side of your brain, the creative side, but no, that's not true. In music, you're using both parts of your brain, or all four quadrants of your brain, because when you're classical, you have to use the analytical side. That's where you're learning theory and stuff like that, and then you put it all together with your right side. This is why people who are musicians are also really good in math, and that's how I am too. Yeah, I fit that. So, when I that September, he, like I said, he admitted that he couldn't do it, and that he just got frustrated. Yeah, he kept trying to put it together, but he said, Dad, David, it just doesn't click. He said, I just can't get it to click. He said, and I said, well, for some people, I tried to soften the blow. Yeah, I didn't want to. I was his friend, so I didn't want to say, see, I told you, ha ha. I wasn't like that. I just said, well, Dan, for some people it just takes a little bit longer than others, and at least you tried, yeah, and that's the number one thing. Most people just talk shit and they don't do anything, but you tried, so good for you, yeah, trying to make him feel better. And but the thing is, he was just like this turtle who was trying to fly. He the music was not his talent, but what he was good at, he just didn't think it was exciting. Yeah, because you see all these videos, this Bon Jovi and Def Leppard, and all the bands that were really popular at during that time, Quiet Riot and Ozzy Osbourne with Randy Rhoads and that kind of stuff. And he really wanted that. Yeah, he saw that as exciting, and he wanted to do that. And he thought he could, and it turned out he couldn't. He was not a musician. And so I think he 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 realized that what I said was true. Is that it takes years to get coordinated on your instrument for one thing, but the creativity has to flow so that you're able to do things on improvisation, things like that, and put emotion into your playing. You don't have to be outlandishly fast. It's just how to connect your emotion to your mind, and interpret that with your body and your soul, and that's music. And that some people can do it and some people can't, but everybody has a talent. I don't know a damn thing about plumbing, for one thing. Yeah, I don't know a damn thing about um, business. I mean, what do you call it? Accounting. Yeah. I don't know anything about economics. I can't even understand economics. Um, repairing appliances, repairing cars, doing electrical work. I don't understand that. Yeah, and even if I try to learn, I get bored really easy. And I said, I don't, that's fine. I know I'm a musician, and that's what I prefer. I'm not an electrician. I don't have the talent for that, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. But some people are really good with electronics, and they come up with all kinds of things. So I told Dan, I said, hey, you should really check that out, because it was people who were really good in electronics that had a small interest in music. Them guys were the ones who created guitar amplifiers. Yeah, this is Fender and Mesa Boogie, and these are all created by electronics guys. And these electronics guys, they just had a slight interest in music. And guitar players would come to them and, hey, can you repair my amplifier? Yeah, let me take a look at it. And they said, oh, yeah, I see what's wrong. And then they said, well, how about if we do this and do that? Next thing you know, you have a hot-rodded amplifier. And that the electronics guy really wasn't a musician at all. But he knew that if you did tweak this and that creates a certain sound. It could be a better sound. So then the electronics guys gave us our kick-ass amplifiers of today. Yeah, so that's what I was telling Dan. Look into that. Maybe that's something you can do. Yeah, that's still part of the rock and roll world. Guitar players, the electric guitar players, need amplifiers. Yeah, amplifiers are machines. They break down, so they need repair. See, this was his talent. He was good in electronics, but he was not a musician. Yeah. So everybody has a different talent, and that's important because everybody who's using their talent contributes to the success of their people. If we were all good at one thing, we're really a bunch of other areas of our lives are going to be really no good, yeah. I mean, your community, yeah. Let's say you're in a community, and all just so happens that everybody is a good cook, but nobody can hunt. Maybe we have a little bit of a situation here, yeah. We're in a little bit of a bind. Everybody walking around with aprons and cooking utensils and spices, and nobody knows how to hunt. So it's necessary, yeah? Where everybody has to have different talents. It's just for the society to be a functioning, healthy, living society, there has to be people with different talents. Yeah, people who we all have to have different talents, and that's how we contribute. Yeah, so that our people may live. That's all it always comes down to, so that we may live. Yeah, and life continues. We learn from difficulty. We enjoy blessings, and then we love. This is the way we live. So our talents all play a role in that too. Yeah. So it's whatever your talent is, don't push it away. Yeah, don't push it away. In Lakota belief, turtles are very powerful, more so than eagles, to tell you the truth. And turtles have an alliance with the thunder. The thunder being is a cleansing being, and the turtle has her power. So, because of the turtle, we have water that we can drink. Yeah, and we need water to live. Yeah, so turtles are really important. They're not just a slow animal. They're not dumb. They're not, their way is different. So in this story, the turtle who wanted to fly, the eagle is saying to this turtle, you are a wonderful creature. You keep the waters clean so that fish can live there and that us birds can eat the fish. If it wasn't for you, there'd be no fish and we would die. You see what I mean? The turtle has a great role in why we are still alive on this planet. So it just the turtle. See, he thought, oh, look at the eagle there. It looks just majestic flying around up there, and wow, man, I want to do that too. See, that's like Dan wanting to be Eddie Van Halen, and actually Dan has had a talent in something else that's really good. So this is how that is. Yeah, that everybody has a talent, and we all can enjoy others' talents. Yeah, your car breaks down. What do? Take it to a mechanic. He has a talent for it. Yeah. So everybody has purpose. Yeah, everybody has a purpose, and it's up to us if we want to fulfill that or not. Yeah, and when we do, we bless others, and in return, we are blessed. Yeah, because of that natural law of generosity.